Next game on the list, we got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I know. The Atlanta Falcons firing Dan Quinn and Dimitroff, their guy. They finally clean house. They should have done it after last season. I was shocked by the way that they didn't. Look, two teams, in my opinion, similar records. Atlanta, I believe, is winless. Minnesota, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they're winless. And then Minnesota's only got one win. But Minnesota's been playing better football lately. Almost snuck out with a win against Seattle. Frankly, by the way, let me gripe about this for a little bit, David. When teams go for two outside of the fourth quarter, it is the dumbest thing you can do. It says two messages. One, it says, we're not going to score again. You're basically saying, I don't think we're going to score again. So you're sending your team that message. Second of all, it takes you off the path. If Minnesota just kicked the extra point in the third quarter with 3 minutes left, then they would have come down. They could have kicked the field goal. That would have been a two-score game with under a minute to play. Game over. And what do? They go for two against a good defensive, short-yarded situation team. The dumbest thing you can do. Kirk Cousins, by the way, got nailed on that play too, on that bad quarterback draw. That quarterback draw usually works, but not this time against Seattle. Anyway, I hate that. It's pet peeve. Stop going for two. Doug Peterson does it all the time. He'll do it in the first quarter. What are you doing, Doug? Come on. Stop doing it. I don't mind. Sorry, I'm on a tangent here. I'm going to rant. I don't mind, David, if the strategy, I understand the percentages because people will say analytics. Analytics work if you do it every time. So if the team says, hey, look, we get 60% of the time we get a two-point conversion, we're going to go for two-point conversion every single time unless maybe it's situational at the end of the game and we can extend it and then we'll kick the extra point. I get it. But when you're selectively doing it, it takes the analytics completely out of play. It's nullified. So Doug Peterson being like, flip a coin. It's first quarter. I'm going to go for two. Let's see what happens. It doesn't work that way. Ugh. Minnesota.
As a Ravens fan, I completely understand where you're coming from because the analytics movement has completely taken over the NFL. And these coaches are becoming victims to it at a certain point. They're taking it too far, and John Harbaugh has done that as well. There's been many opportunities, and I get it. Fourth and short, you go for it. The analytics. There's been many opportunities where the Baltimore Ravens have left points on the board in close games when we could have kicked the field goal with the best kicker in the league.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I let the analytics do the analytics, but sometimes, you're just overthinking it. These coaches need to just trust their gut a little bit more.
Completely agree. I'll give you another one. Las Vegas versus Kansas City. They were up by 14. No, they're up by 15. And they had the opportunity. I know this isn't the Kansas City segment. They had the opportunity to either go for two and extend that lead to 17 or kick the extra point and go up by 16. That's a time you go for two. Because then you have Kansas City, they have to get 1 2-point conversion and kick. So they already have to get a 2-point conversion. So you're already kind of rolling the dice there. I guess they're saying they're not going to get two. But if you go for two there, percentages-wise, at the end of the game, Kansas City, you know how powerful their offense is. You try to extend that and go up to 17 points and make that a 3-score game. It's just these coaches, I think they're getting stuff from the statisticians inside the building and everything, but they're not applying it correctly. And it's just driving me crazy, man. So yeah, Baltimore does that a lot. If you're going to do it, jump in with both feet. If you're going to go for it on fourth and short, then go for it on fourth and short every time. Don't just selectively do it because it throws the stats out the window. And the statisticians there have just been pulling their hair out. Either do it or don't. Anyway, back to Atlanta. I'm sorry, another little mini tangent here, and Atlanta fans know what I'm talking about. This team is a passing team. Okay, Dirk Cutter is a passing coach. That's what they've done. What they did in the offseason is completely changed the identity of their team, and it has not gone well. They've looked awful. Given Gurley, all these carries and these key carries and everything, Matt Ryan has had the offense routed through him for the last 8 to 10 years. Atlanta's not stopping anybody on defense. To try to say that you're going to be a ball control team and play defense, hello, Atlanta, you suck on defense. Dan Quinn, oh, my gosh. And Dimitroff, by the way, should have fired Dan Quinn himself last year to preserve his own job. Because I don't think he's done an awful job bringing talent in. But Dan Quinn and their strategy has been awful. Minnesota, I think, is getting better. Outside of that awful decision to go for 2-point conversion, so stupid at the end of the fourth quarter because they would have won the game had they not. And they would have been then a 2-3 team and a lot better. Now they have to basically go 8-3 to make the playoffs. And that's tough, man. It's tough. So that's rough. I do think Minnesota, though, is much better than Atlanta. Let me hit you with some daily fantasy stuff or some fantasy football projections, and you take it away, David. Matt Ryan, I have as a sit. Todd Gurley, Turd Godley as I call him. You can start him, I guess. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't know. Like, what is this? Is Dirk Cutter, is he taking over? Is he going to just pass the ball a million times like he has his entire career? Maybe Turd Godley. I don't know. Stay away, I guess. David doesn't like him, and I can't disagree. Julio Jones, if he plays, you can start him. Calvin Ridley, you got to play every week. I saw Russell Gage went out with an injury. I don't know. Hayden Hurst is ticking me off, so he's dead to me. Minnesota, I think Cousins gets better from here on out. I'd be comfortable starting Cousins in a super flex, or buying him up some shares in like daily fantasy. Look, Dalvin Cook, groin injury. I think he's going to be out. I know he entered the game. If you're reading the news that he re-entered the game and you feel a little bit better, don't. I think he entered the game and he shouldn't have. I think
One snap, I think.
Yeah, I think he's out for 2 to 3 weeks at least. So Alexander Mattison, this is his show. By the way, Alexander Mattison, I don't know if you're watching the game live, David. I mean, he looked good and everything, as I knew he would because I like Mattison. But did you see it? Boone got a couple of red zone touches because Mattison had to run off the field and throw up because he wasn't in shape. So he better get in shape this week. Because Mattison, by the way, would have scored on one of those plays. So Madison's your guy. Don't worry about the snap share. Madison, literally the only reason he came off the field was to throw up because he was running too much. Adam Thielen is a start. I like Jefferson this week. I was disappointed in what he did against Seattle. And then Minnesota, I don't know. Is it Irv Smith? Is it Kyle Rudolph? You tell me, David. Take it away.
Well, I'm going to start with the Falcons.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pile on. Go get your trash bin and throw all your Falcons in there. Every single one that isn't named Calvin Ridley, throw them in the trash.
At least trade Julio. Trade Julio.
Yeah, trash is relative. I'm not saying go out and cut Gurley and Julio. Matt Ryan, you can cut him in a 1 QB league. I got no problem with that.
Agreed.
You're streaming at this point. You got to just give up. Throw in the towel on this offense, guys. Todd Gurley, you talk about, he had 14 for 121, a touchdown this past week. It's Carolina, guys. Carolina, I could line up in the Atlanta backfield and rush for 50 yards and a touchdown against Carolina. Definitely couldn't. But still, the point is, Carolina has allowed everybody and their mother to rush on them. They're the number one fantasy matchup for running backs. So Todd Gurley, sell. Go around your team. Go through every team and look at who needs an RB2, especially you got bye weeks coming up. Who needs an RB2? Unless you need Gurley, if you have the depth, get this guy off your team.
I agree. I think Cutter, assuming he's – I mean, you got to assume he's still going to be play calling because I didn't see him swept up in the firings. I think he'll take over the team, and it's going to be all passing. It's going to go back to what they used to do the first stint around. I think Gurley is a huge liability now.
Julio, I also think the second he gets back, he's reaching the end of the line. I don't trust 30-plus-year-old receivers with injuries. I said this at the beginning of the year. My all-fade list was A.J. Green, T.Y. Hilton, Adam Thielen, because they were 30-plus and they had a recent injury history of basically hamstring pulls. You could see it was the end of the line. What's happening to Julio now? Same exact thing. So I'm ready to toss him in the bin too. Hayden Hurst, yeah, you can drop him, guys. That hurts me to say because I was all in on Hurst, especially
me too.
As a Ravens fan. I dropped him last week before this game where he only caught 2 passes for Robert Tonyan. I don't feel bad about it one bit.
I did the same thing.
If Tonyan's still out there on your waiver wire, guys, and he slipped through the cracks because he was on a bye week, drop Hayden Hurst for him today because he's at least in a high-powered passing offense that's performing well and is looking to get involved. Atlanta's not looking to get Hurst the ball at all. He's like the third check down after Ridley, Julio, and Gage have been gone through the reads. He's just they don't care about Hayden Hurst. Minnesota, Dalvin Cook, guys. I hope you didn't draft him. I've been telling you all year this was the guy I was out on. He's played in 24 or 28 out of 48 games in 3 years. Now it's the groin. He's had the hamstring before. He can't stay healthy. As soon as he comes back, plays the game, I'd be trying to trade him. Alexander Mattison, despite the throw-up incident, he actually looked good. 20 carries for 112 yards, 5.6 yards per carry. I mean, why wouldn't they keep getting Mattison more involved, especially with Dalvin Cook beat up?
Let me cut in real quick about Mattison because I have strong feelings. I'm in my feelings now about Mattison. 2 things. One, what had we been saying all offseason? Like Cook, you understand how explosive he is, and I was higher on Cook than you were. But what did we both say? If you get Cook, overdraft Mattison and keep him rostered because that this is going to happen. Second thing with Mattison, coming out last year, when I do my preseason stuff for fantasy football and stuff, I go back and I watch college film and all that stuff. I said Mattison was my favorite running back coming out of college, along, by the way, with Devin Singletary. So I was on him prior to last season. And I liked those players' talent with where they landed because it's a combination of fantasy football as much as I like Josh Jacobs, maybe even more in Mattison's case. My beef with Mattison is that he had Dalvin Cook ahead of him. Well, that's not going to be the case for the next, like I'm saying, and I'm guessing right now, 2 to 3 weeks. Now, it's possible, miraculously, Cook could come back, but come on, man. Like, if you're Minnesota, it's a bad move to play Cook with a strained groin. It's just not a good move. Mattison can get you there, and I don't think that Mattison's a downgrade. Like Mike Davis and Christian McCaffrey, Mike Davis is producing, but he's not Christian McCaffrey. He's like 80 to 90%. Alexander Mattison, I believe, can produce the same amount as Dalvin Cook in this offense, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, I think we spent enough time on these two garbage teams. Let's get to the line.
The line, fair enough. Atlanta plus 3.5 versus Minnesota.
Give me Minnesota.
Yeah. I don't like the 3.5. I'd feel better if this is a field goal, but I think.
You know what? I'm gonna. I can't do it. I wanted to switch. You know what I wanted to say? I wanted to say, look at the Texans. They fired their head coach, and it just seemed to just take a weight off their shoulders. So I wouldn't touch this game because I think the same thing could happen with Atlanta. But I'll still take the Vikings because I can't bet on Atlanta.
Minnesota's offense can really pick apart the many weaknesses of Atlanta's defense. So that's the only usually I stay away from coaching changes for that exact reason. But this time around, I'm going to go with Minnesota. They're playing good. They're playing pretty reasonable football. I don't know about good football, but the defense is better. I like this. I really do like this team going forward. They're going to be one of my undervalued. Everybody's writing them off because their record's not good, but they'll make you a lot of money against the spread. So I like Minnesota, man. I'm not sleeping on them, but they're a playoff team in a disguise of a 1-4 record. So I don't know. It's a tough draw, man. They got to go 8-3, maybe even 9-2 to close out the year. It's tough.